All right, here we have example 1.1 found on page 10 of your textbook, and the question reads, determine whether each change is physical or chemical and what kind of property, either physical or chemical, is demonstrated. So for A, we have the evaporation of alcohol. Now, evaporation is an example of a phase change between liquid going to gas. And so we know from this chapter that anytime something undergoes a phase change, it's actually just a physical change. Nothing chemically is changing about the compound. It's still going to be rubbing alcohol, whether it's in the liquid or gaseous phase. So evaporation, that's a physical change. And alcohol's ability, rubbing alcohol particularly, sometimes known as isopropanol or isopropyl alcohol, has the ability to evaporate pretty quickly or very easily. So if we compared rubbing alcohol's ability to evaporate compared to that of water, it undergoes this phase change very easily. Sometimes this ability is called volatility. And so rubbing alcohol's ability to evaporate relatively easily is an example of a physical property. So it's undergoing a physical change, and the physical property that's being demonstrated is its volatility. For B, we have the burning of lamp oil. Now, burning is an example of something undergoing a chemical reaction, aka a chemical change. When we burn lamp oil, it's actually undergoing something called a combustion reaction in order to produce other compounds. So burning is our key word here, and it indicates that we are undergoing a chemical change. Now, something's ability to burn, like wood or alcohol, or in this case lamp oil, is actually an example of a property called flammability. And something's ability to catch fire or not is an example of a chemical property. A chemical change has to take place in order for something to be flammable. So there you go. Burning of lamp oil, that's undergoing a chemical change. Burning or flammability is an example of a chemical property. Next, we have bleaching of hair with H2O2, also known as hydrogen peroxide. So in this example, another key word that we have here is bleaching. Bleaching is a type of redox reaction, which we'll learn about later in the semester. Redox standing for oxidation reduction. So in order for your hair to become bleached with hydrogen peroxide, it has to undergo a chemical reaction. Therefore, this is an example of a chemical change. Now, for the property, basically hair's ability to undergo this bleaching property, since it has to undergo a chemical change to do it, this is an example of a chemical property. So kind of see a pattern here. Typically, physical change is accompanied by the fact that something has a physical property. Chemical change is accompanied by a chemical property. And then our last example, we have formation of frost on a cold night. This is an example of a physical change. So we have physical change, if I could spell that correctly. Let's see. Come on, Ben. There we go. Physical change. What's happening is water vapor from the air is being deposited on surfaces as frost. This is an example of a gas going to a solid, sometimes known as the phase change of deposition. And so because this is a physical change, basically water's ability to form frost or deposit on cold surfaces is an example of a physical property. So there you have it. Chemical changes, physical changes, and what physical or chemical properties they go with.